Welcome to the One Mindful Minute. And today I am joined by Dr. Tanya Farran. And wow, some of us are probably haven't heard of you before if you not already have been following us on LinkedIn, which we have done a lot of work out there. So why don't you go ahead and share a little bit of your work or who you are with our audience here, Dr. Farran?
A- Absolutely happy to do that. As Fawn said, my name is Tanya, and I'm going to tell you two different sides of me. So, my 9 to 5, I'm an educator. I always tell everyone I'm an educator. I've been in education for a long time, probably close to 30 years. I've been a teacher, which I absolutely loved. I've been an elementary principal, a high school principal, and now I'm a middle school virtual principal. So, that's my 9 to 5 life. My 5 to 9 life is really fun because I own a company called Creative Living Ideas, and I do professional development. We do pretty large events, virtual experiences for people twice a year. And I also am the author of 9 different books, some self care journals, and a parenting book, a cookbook, and a memoir with my mom and my brother. So, a lot of really fun things in that 5 to 9 part of life, or weekends also.
Yeah.
So, that's a little bit about me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were just featured on TV because of one of your books. Well, tell us a little bit about
Yes.
that.
Yes, I was. So it was interesting. I watched the daily news show in St. Louis area, and the news anchors are all young moms, and they share that they have kids and things like that. So I had sent them an image of my book, Raising the Well-Adjusted Child: A Parent's Manual, and I asked them if they also host a couple of different segments about parenting, and I asked if they were interested in having me be a part of that, and they came back and they said no. And I thought, you know what? What the heck? I'm going to send them. I have my copy right here so you
Oh
can see it, those of
yeah.
you. Yeah, my copy right here. It's on Amazon. But I said to them, I just sent them a copy of it. I thought, there's 3 females that I watch every morning. They all have young kids. I'm just going to give them a copy. I sent it to them. Didn't think anything of it in response. I asked them, where should I ship it to? I just want to give you a copy of the book. And then another news anchor who wasn't in the morning show called me and asked me to be on the news. And we talked about some sections and some things about parenting.
That is so cool. You didn't see this coming.
No, I did not. I was not. I was expecting to maybe be on the segment in the morning, not in the afternoon show. So that was really, really fun. It was really fun.
Yeah, that's you gotta love that kind of surprise, right? And
Yes.
always be ready for the surprise, right? You never know what the universe is gonna send you. And that being
You don't.
said, the mindfulness journey that you have been on, and that's the reason why we are here today to talk about this. And I do have
Mhm.
a list of questions I like to ask you about your journey.
Yeah.
So, what was life like before you start practicing mindfulness?
I feel like for a long time, probably from the time I was young until I was probably 30ish, I just sort of went through life. As life was happening, I just did whatever kind of went through. And then I became a little bit more focused in my 30s about what I wanted in life. And I started doing a lot of self discovery. With listening to different, more like YouTube videos rather than podcasts at the time, reading some different books, things like that to kind of learn a little bit more about mindfulness and what I want in life and presence, things like that.
Were you challenged by certain things like difficulty staying focused, or you always stress? Stress was like your middle name.
Mm. So I like I said, things we were just chugging along. Life was just happening, good things, sad things, whatever. And life was just chugging along. And in 2008, we had the recession hit our family, and it was really challenging at the time. And I was a teacher at the time. My husband's in construction, and it hit the construction field pretty hard for about 3 years. And I became the breadwinner of the family. And it was really, really challenging. There was very little work for my husband to do. We struggled. We made it through together. But I needed more. I needed more to focus on than just to look at the negative pieces of it. So that's really when my journey began in 2008. And it was mostly because of stress. 2008 was, when you have those years and those moments where everything falls apart. It was one of those years. And my grandmother passed away. My mother was diagnosed with cancer, and my husband lost his job in all the same week. It was a tough week,
Yeah, that yeah.
a week you don't
Yeah,
forget.
that's a lot going on in 7 days.
Yeah. And so at that point in time, I felt like my life is spiraling out of control, and I didn't know how do you manage that? I have two young children. I have a job. I'm the breadwinner. We're trying to manage life. What do we do at this point in time? And so I did. I started seeking and searching some different things. And I've always been an active person. I've always liked physical movement. I've always liked music. Those are things that have always really just inspired me and motivated me and made me happy, brought joy to my life. Or I shouldn't even just say joy, like brought emotion.
Hmm.
'Cause sometimes I'm all right with a sad song that makes me cry, because sometimes that feels
Yeah,
okay.
that's a release,
Sometimes that
right?
feels really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because sometimes your body just craving a space to release or some stimulant
Yes.
that will help you release. So crying or a sad song is just a vehicle to help get you there. That's a
Yeah,
great example.
absolutely.
I love it. Thank you. Well,
Yeah. You're welcome.
what about your biggest breakthrough with mindfulness? I mean, beside discovering your joy or your moment, your special moments with, songs. You mentioned music, and we talked about this 2 weeks ago when we did one of our Wellness Wednesday. Did you share that dance was the
Yes,
one thing that is like your go-to, right? And listening to music, and
it
of course
is.
sometimes dance move comes with music, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I don't know, I would say I had several little milestones that would come to me, and I would practice them, and then I would learn about them. I would say probably the most impactful thing that I did was I brought my husband and my kids on the journey with me.
Mm.
In the sense of I wasn't just going to learn about it, but we were all going to talk about it. And I remember there being certain segments of things like, I read the book The Secret, and I learned about visualization and the mindset, right? And I learned that, and I watched videos on it, and I read it, and I gave it to my daughters to read. And then that was a big thing. I remember that being a big moment. And then I went into um, vision boards and really started looking at what did I really want in my life? How did I want to, live the rest of my life? And what sort of things did I want to visualize in my life? And what do I want to, try to manifest? And so started doing vision boards with my daughters and bringing in big pieces of paper and magazines. Now I just do digital vision boards every year.
Cool.
Um,
Oh my gosh, you just gave me an idea. Maybe the next wellness summit we can all like do the vision board session,
it would be
right?
fun.
That would be really, really
That would be
fun.
really fun. It would be really fun.
Especially
It's really
digitally.
cool. Yeah. It's really kind of ironic how it works out. There's some things that stay in my vision board that I really haven't accomplished or managed to get to yet. But it is ironic of some things. Like I wanted to purchase a house in Florida. And the house, when I came back home, we did purchase one 3 years ago. And the house that is on the vision board is pretty close replica to the house that I wanted. And you hear that a lot when people build vision boards or they're manifesting things, but I didn't really realize it. In fact, the house we purchased, we didn't even want to look at the house. We were kind of like, well, we're here. Let's do one more. Let's look at it. So it wasn't like it was laser focused in my mind,
Yeah, yeah.
but I had to put it out into the universe earlier.
Exactly.
So,
And that was just like how you thought you were going to be on the morning show, but you ended up on a different
yes,
show. I mean, you can't control
yes,
the outcomes, right? I mean,
no,
but you have put the intention out there. It's on your vision board, right?
right. Right. It is. It's crazy. It's amazing how that works. And you know, so that was another milestone doing vision boards. And then, in 2019, I had another setback in my career and things weren't going the way I wanted them to go. And I remember listening to a lot of inspirational speakers on podcasts and really visualizing that I wanted to work from home and what did that look like. And really doing some deeper mind work with really putting myself in the place of where I wanted to be. And yeah, and I work from home now.
Oh my God. What you just share was definitely the exact same thing I did. I got goosebumps just talking about, just listening to you.
Yeah.
Because in 2019, in January, if I remember correctly, I was in a mastermind group and I had written down something about I want to work from home. And
Hmm.
I don't know how. I live in Silicon Valley. I'm not an engineer. It's going to be really hard for me to work from home. And of course, something shifted. The entire world shifted for me. Literally, the entire
Yes.
world. Pandemic happened. And
Yes.
that was like the end of my physical renting the space for my spa business at the time. And this is just like, whoa. It was definitely something I written down. I put something that kind of represent working from anywhere in the world. So it's like a picture of a yoga retreat, a meditation retreat that I have put on my vision board. Isn't that crazy?
That's so cool. It is so crazy. It is. It is. Like if people that haven't practiced it in their whole life, don't really realize about it, that it can really happen. And so I go back to and I relate to my husband a lot. My husband was an athlete in college and has always coached and things like that. He's always very active. And I talked to him about transitioning that visualization because he's very good at that as an athlete. They're trained, and they do a lot of mental training with their players and they're trained for that. But then transitioning that to your life, your personal life, is another step in a different direction.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And visualization is another form of practicing meditation. By the way, if you didn't know that.
I love that when you drop in. I learned so much already from just our last conversation about meditation, from you.
I'm so glad to hear that. So I had this one question that I wanted to ask you about what are some of the unexpected benefit of experience that you did you have from practicing mindfulness? But it seems like you already have answered that. I mean, can you think of more? Because if we were trying to
Well,
convince
I would,
someone to practice
yeah,
mindfulness, we could.
yeah, yeah. I would just say there's a lot of little pieces to it, and I think there's a lot of steps to it. And I would just say, you know, a couple of them would be my job. I always joked I was an educator. I said, what teacher can ever work from home? What principal could ever work from home? Yeah, that is a joke, and I would joke about it, but I still talked about it and I still wanted it. And then in 2019, I really wanted it because I knew it was available and I really visualized it and I worked at it. But there's other pieces that just kind of fall into place that you don't realize that you've put out there, and the piece that's hard is that control, like not controlling when it's going to happen, like having to be on the TV show. I just thought I was a done deal. I wasn't going to be on there. It wasn't a big deal. So I just sent them the book. And then when I got the email, I was shocked. And so understanding and believing is the next part of that mindfulness visualization, is that in your heart, you have to believe inside that it's going to happen and you don't have to worry about it. And then you can just let it go from your mind, which is the hardest part because we try to control everything. We try to control the outcome and we can't control the outcome or the timing or the with who or the how, right? Like I put it on there that I wanted to be on TV, but guess what? It wasn't with the people that I thought it was going to be. And then the other piece that I wanted to say is the other part of mindfulness is that freeing of your mind. So taking a minute today, I had my day job had some very challenging scenarios that were happening, and my boss and I were trying to connect, and I said, I'm going to go outside for a couple of minutes because I needed to step away from this space and regroup where I'm at and being still outside, which is probably another form of meditation, right, Fawn? I went out there and I watched a bird take a little bath in this little flower pot that had some leftover rainwater in it. And I was looking at the trees that were budding, and I was looking at the squirrel in the ground and the stick I needed to pick up. And, it's a huge piece to be able to be still in mindfulness.
Bingo. That is the word, peace. That's it. That what you just shared, that is the ultimate mindfulness practice. You being here, you being in the now, in the moment, you're
Yes.
observing everything that's going on around you, and you're not worried about what's the meeting's going to be about, or how am I going to respond in the meeting, or your $1 million plan. So, some other things that might be happening in your head prior to stepping outside. And nature is
Oh,
so magical, isn't it? You just walk out there, you never
it
know what you're going to
is.
see. You never know what's going to be like bringing you this peace of mind.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. And I encourage people to every day go outside, even if it's cold, even if it's too hot, like go outside for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever you can do. And that was hard. I mean, that for me to learn, I literally, when all of this happened in 2008, I started going to therapy as well. I learned a lot from my therapist in that being still in that moment because I'm a doer. Sometimes being a doer really makes me relax, but sometimes I overdo my doing and then
Mm.
I'm tired, then I'm worn out. And so finding that time to be still and just let the world kind of go by and watch it happen for a few minutes is okay.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And that's exactly the question one of the questions that I wanted to ask you is what advice? But you already answered that.
Mm.
You are ahead of the game here.
Sorry.
No, no, sorry. Maybe I can extract some more wisdom out of you. What else do you do that, or what advice would you give to someone that just getting started on their mindfulness journey?
Well, I would recommend that they follow your YouTube channel, your podcast, pay attention to that. I really would, because you've got to start absorbing that, and you have to start, learning more about it. You can't be a pro right off the bat. I think you have to learn, and then you have to open your mind, to being able to do that. There's a lot of steps you can, you have to set some boundaries for yourself to provide yourself that time. You may have to schedule it in. you know?
Oh, I love that.
Um,
Yeah. Schedule it in, set some
mhm.
boundary. Yes, I heard a lot of um, professionals who are, struggling with setting boundary. Like they would still check email at 9 or up
Yeah,
until
no,
midnight just because
right.
they work with team that are in different time zone of the world
Yeah.
even, right? So, and being
Mhm.
overachievers, we tend to want to get things done. We want to take care of everyone and everything. We want things to go smoothly, but again, just like you mentioned earlier, we want to be in control and try to control
Yes.
everything. And unfortunately, it doesn't always work like that in order to get what we
No.
want. Or a part of practicing mindfulness is about letting go. And you said that earlier too.
Yeah,
It's not
it is.
easy for some people,
No.
especially someone who just getting started. I mean, how do you let it go?
Well, and I think sometimes you think, well, that didn't work, so why would I do that anymore? Right? You tried it once. I was mindful, didn't really make me feel that great. Never mind. I won't do it again. You have to consistently show up for yourself. And I think that's where you're looking at it's about when you're setting boundaries, when you're setting schedules, when you are, you know, practicing these things, spending time to learn how to read, read a book about it, listen to a podcast about it, watch a YouTube video. You're setting yourself up for success, but you're also having to show up all the time to learn more about it. And I think, you can't give up, it takes time. It's not immediate. Your results are not always immediate. But you have to also have hope and faith that they're going to happen. And so, there's a lot of skills that go into being able to do this. It's not just a one-time thing, and it's not just this journey, like this journey has taken, again, since 2008 for me. It's 2025. I'm still on the journey. I'm still learning about myself and what I need and how to do that. And one thing that my therapist had said to me, I'm a very type A personality, and she said, how long are you going to sit on the rock in the middle of the river? Like, how long are you going to sit here and refuse to go with the flow in life? Like, you need to get in the boat and go on down the river. It's a lot easier. And I was like, and that really stuck in my brain quite a bit.
Wow, I got goosebumps. It's
Yeah.
I can see the picture, and you're right. We're never gonna get anywhere. We just keep sitting on that rock, right?
Right. And resisting.
Yeah, and not making the decision or taking a long time to make a decision, which I think I do sometimes on some topic. Like my husband described me as indecisive. Like if we go to store together, I will be standing in the same aisle, and he would be like, and he comes back to the same spot and I'm still there reading the ingredients, reading
The label.
labels. Do I want this brand or do I want this brand? Which one has less sugar? Which one is high sodium? That should be that is something my husband does in like a split second, and then he moves on. And I'm like, wow, I had never seen this brand before. It's new. Do I want to try it? Like
Right. Right.
yeah, so
That is
sometimes we don't have forever, and we need to be able to make decision quickly. And effective leaders are usually more decisive than someone who taking a long time. So now in our household, we decided my husband does a better job at grocery shopping, so he get to do that.
love it. I love it. I think that's perfect. It is. Sometimes you just have to go with the flow. You don't have to think things through so much. Like, you don't have to think, well, my role is the wife, so I should be doing the grocery
Mm.
shopping. Nope, he does it better. He does it faster. he can do it. That's awesome. And I love that. And I think we look at those types of things and, go with the flow in life a little bit more. And it's hard sometimes. Sometimes it's hard. And it's that timing piece also. It's very hard when we think things like, okay, I wrote the book, nobody bought it. I should never write another book again. No, keep going. I applied for the job. I didn't get it. I guess I'll never get that. I'll never get a job like that. So I may as well just quit trying. Keep trying. Just go with the flow. Those things weren't meant for you, or that moment wasn't meant for you, or that book will come back around and you can use it again. Like, there's so many things that takes time to train your brain
Yes,
to think that
it
way.
does. We are so programmed to just fall back to our old habits. And sometimes the old
Yes.
habits are not exactly supporting our personal growth, right? So, in order to
Right.
replace or get rid of the old habits, we need new healthy habits to replace that because otherwise, we don't know what to do. Like, okay, if I get rid of that, and then what now? Like you need to have something else because our brains is constantly seeking the new and exciting stuff, right? Because that's
Mhm.
our human nature. So yeah, this is so nice to hear that how we need to redo this, and sometimes
Mhm.
it takes time and sometimes it doesn't, but in a situation where it doesn't take time, I feel like it's very dramatic, like some dramatic event happen in order for us to change, right? Like we get some kind of disease that force us to stop drinking
Yes.
or change our diet completely. Diabetic is like the biggest thing in the US, right? Or the
Yes.
not the biggest thing, but the biggest challenge.
Sure. Yeah.
And we don't want that to happen to anyone in order for them to want
Mhm.
to change or to grow or to
Mhm.
to be in the flow and grow, not like you waking up each morning and resisting of like, oh my gosh, I have to go do that again. Like, okay. I used to go through a period of time when I was like, okay, I gotta work out again. Didn't I just do that yesterday? Okay, I gotta go back to yoga class again. I just did that last night
Yeah.
before I went to bed.
Yeah.
It's like
Right.
sometimes
Right.
sometimes you just have to do it in order to create
Yeah.
that habits that will stick.
Right. Right. You do. You do. And, we just finished in the 2350 network, finished reading Atomic Habits, which is another good book if you're looking for things like that, to make a habit stick or, how to do those types of things. And I think those are um, great things to do. And sometimes you just have to do it, right? Sometimes you just have to do it. You have to do the hard stuff. And I was telling my daughter that today. I danced this morning, and I call her in the mornings after, and I said, I really didn't want to do it today, but I feel so good now. Like, I feel so good. Like, that music just lifted me up and it was just fun. And I absolutely loved it. And she danced when she was younger as well, so she gets it. That was her, outlet.
Nice.
Outlet.
Oh, this is so this is so convenient for the family to do together.
Yeah.
We used to do that like every get together, holiday get together, like Christmas or Thanksgiving, right? And my husband is such a such a planner, and he knows after dessert he's like, he get the music all lined up and then he'll be like, all right, and then he started playing the first one and he's like, this one
Oh.
is for Tanya and the next one is for fun, and oh my gosh, he's
Oh.
such a great planner. I have to give him that. And he knows like, okay, you like this song, and he got this phenomenal memory. He remember, or if he doesn't remember what song someone like at that time, he will be playing something that like he thinks that they will like because of their age.
Yeah, like the artist or the genre or something. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
Isn't that
cool.
amazing?
It's very
Like,
cool.
and we
Yeah,
would all dance together because we don't just let one person dance by themselves in this household. And I don't know how to dance, so I just I just get out there and just jumping around with everybody, and it didn't matter, you
that's
know. You don't
perfect.
have to know how. You
Mhm.
just get out and do it.
We have
Yeah,
fun.
and that's a really
Mhm.
good way to digest after the dinner too.
Yeah,
Especially
that is the
Thanksgiving.
truth. That is definitely the truth. I agree. It is. And I didn't realize, I mean, when you said that to me, you were like, dancing is a form of meditation. I had no idea. Like, I didn't know that till we met a few weeks ago and talked about it.
Yes, yes, totally. And I'm really glad that that resonates with you, and that is your way of practicing mindfulness and practicing meditation. It doesn't have to be, any specific form. Explore, right? I mean,
Mhm.
that's what the definition of fun is all about. It's exploring, finding what you enjoy in life and stick to it, or keep exploring until you find something that brings more
Yes.
joy in life.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
you being a busy bee, you have a 9 to 5 and then a 5 to 9, like
Mhm.
you are superwoman, a Wonder Woman in this in this space of work. How do you stay consistent with your practices?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I probably for the last 3 years had stepped away and was very inconsistent, and that's been really hard for me. And so, whenever we transition in life to different things, transitions are challenging sometimes, and they sort of upset what we are doing in our program. And so I kept trying to readjust to different habits or routines. And they're not working. They've not been effective. So like, for example, this is very basic, but when I worked in a brick and mortar and I went to the office every day, I woke up at 5:30. I was working out by 6:30. From 6:30 to 7, I worked out. I jumped in the shower at 7:30, I left for work. That was my morning routine. Well, when I started working from home and I only have to walk down the hall to log in at 8 o'clock, I think, well, I'll play on my computer a little more. I'll do this a little more. I'll watch one more segment of the news. I'll do this in the kitchen. And then I have more time to work out. And then the time would get away from me and I wouldn't get my time frame in. And I'm a morning person like that. So for me, the meditation, the workout, the yoga, any of that has to be done right away in the morning. I don't mind doing an afternoon one, but that's kind of like a bonus. My have tos is that morning routine. So I kept pushing it off, and it would become really inconsistent. I'd say, okay, I'm going to do it at 7. Okay, I'm going to do it at 7:30. Okay, I'm going to try here. I'm going to shower first. Then, it didn't work. So, long story short, I've gone back now about the last, probably since I'd say November, with 6:30 in the morning, working out, doing my yoga or meditation or dance or whatever from 6 to 7, 7:15, something like that. Because my journey is just down the hall now, so I can still hop in the shower, get ready, that sort of thing, and be at work on time. And so I had to go back to that routine.
And how do you reset
Hmm.
if you need the reset
Meaning what? What do you mean? Like,
in a busy day?
how do I reset in a busy day? So I do a couple of things. I have couple of meditations on my phone, like a 5 minute or a 10-minute meditation. I'll do that. I have a longer 20-minute one that I do like after work sometimes. If I need to do that, I'll lay down and listen to that. My workout room is next door. So sometimes throughout the day, I'll go in there and I'll do some stretching. And then my other reset is to go outside.
Ah, yeah,
I
yeah.
try to go outside a few times every day.
Nice.
Um, breathe some fresh air, maybe take 5 deep breaths and like just like literally like just bring my arms up as high as they can go and take deep breaths and be outside in the sun or the cold or the whatever it is.
That is, yeah,
Yeah.
that is so cool. Not just that you have your workout room 5 minutes away from you, but I mean, you can be in the gym, but not working out. You can be chit chatting with other people. I've seen people do that, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So having, the luxury of the convenient helps, but you
Mhm.
really have to be conscious of your action too. And you mentioned you have a guided meditation, 5 minutes
Mhm.
guided meditation and 20 minutes guided meditation that you would do
Mhm.
if you want to do a reset, and then you do stretching,
Yes.
right? And even just
Yeah.
breathing. A lot of times when we
Mhm.
get all stressed, we hold our breath
Yes.
and we forgot. We
Yes.
get into this like, and we just stop
Yes.
everything. And no wonder why you like doing this the
Yeah.
entire time, right? We gotta let it
Yes.
go, drop that, drop that. And
Mhm.
breath really helps, reminded you to come back
Mhm.
to your body. So you've done all of
Mhm.
this mindfulness practices without describing it as mindfulness. You just said, I just
Right.
step outside, be in nature. I just go into my workout room. I just turn on music. I just dance. And without even being aware that's the mindfulness practice. So whatever you label your practice, as long as it's bringing you joy and bringing you back to the present moment, do it.
I love that. I appreciate you explaining a little bit more to me about that with meditation because I really didn't realize that. And I know we're probably about out of time, but I know at the very beginning when you and I talked a couple weeks ago, I talked about how I was trying to figure out how to meditate. I didn't know how. I wanted to try it, but I wasn't sure how. And with this mindfulness conversation that we're having today, and the things that I've done in from 2008 forward, learning all of those steps in different years to now combine together, I it's just very like heartening. I don't know if that's the right word, but it makes me really happy, like to do those things. It really does bring you back to joy and um, back to yourself.
Yes, yes. When you are in the present moment, you are not
Mhm.
worrying about what the future would be like or what the
Mhm.
past have happened to you or had affected you and making you into the person today, because today in this moment, in the present time, present space, you are safe and you are okay. You are okay
Mhm.
as the person you are. You are okay as who you are right now. You don't need to be someone that you expected to be. This is
Mhm.
it. This is it. This is all we have right now, right?
Yeah.
And we have to be okay with that. We have to make
Mhm.
peace with ourselves in this moment. And then we can move on gracefully without like, I gotta do this. I have so many things I gotta accomplish, right? And then you ended up like spiraling in the same motion that you have been. So that's why mindfulness
Right.
is so crucial in bringing you back to your true self, your happy
Yeah.
self. If that can sum it up for some people. And it's
Mhm.
been such fun conversation as always talking to you, Dr. Farran. And I love that you throw some color on for us today. I thought I was putting on blue, but my dark blue isn't really coming out very well. So your happy color definitely trumped this dark tone that I have going on right now. So believe it or not, speaking of color, before I wrap it up here, color actually can change your mood.
Absolutely. I believe that.
And I'm sure you probably heard of it before,
Absolutely.
right? Because you call
Um,
this
I,
because you call this spring color. So springs is usually like
yes,
giving hopes and giving
yes,
the vibrant, the fresh start
right.
feeling. So yeah.
Yes. Yes, and that's what I needed today. I felt like I was like, I want to perk things up.
Y-
So let's go with something bright. But I do love dark colors, so they also make me happy. But this was the vibe for today. So thanks so much for having me on here. We could talk forever, I
I
feel like. And
know.
just it's so easy to talk and such a great topic that we both just love and we're passionate about.
Before we wrap it up, one more thing that I like you to maybe tell our listener who tune in with us here about our virtual wellness experience that is coming
Yes.
up on March 21st and 22nd. What's going on there?
Yes. Oh my gosh. So we have 21 different presenters. It is the virtual wellness experience. So it is virtual. So you can get a ticket. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn or Fawn on LinkedIn or any other way that you can reach her. And we can get you a link to purchase a ticket. It's a 2-day event. You can purchase it for 1 day or 2 days. And the sessions are all recorded. So you have up to a month to go back to rewatch all of the sessions that are in the lobby. And it is so cool. It's so much fun. So we start at 9 a.m. Central Time on Friday the 22nd and go until 4 o'clock Central Time. We have two presenters every 45 minutes or every hour, and their sessions are 45 minutes long. We have topics on mindfulness, meditation, law of attraction. We have a person, a dietitian, a nutritionist who's going to talk about menopause. We have people that are talking about relationships. We have a person talking about love. We have people talking about leadership, leading with your legacy in mind. I mean, so many amazing topics for people to be able to attend and learn more about. And then Saturday, we come back at 9 a.m. and start right away from 9 to 4. And then we also have a networking session in the middle. So you can meet presenters, you can network with one another, just talk, bounce ideas off, ask more questions. So it's a really cool session in the middle there. And that's coming up March 21st and 22nd. Now, this coming week is our Meet the Presenters week. So we have people at 7 p.m. Central Time, Sunday through Thursday on LinkedIn Live. I will be streaming it to my YouTube channel on Creative Living Ideas, as well as my Facebook page. And it'll also be streamed on LinkedIn. So you can catch a bunch of presenters at that point in time as
I'm
well.
so excited. Thank you for sharing. And I know I will be there this Sunday as well. So
Yay.
Um, I will also put the link for everybody to check out the event and get the tickets and join us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank
that.
you for making the time. I know we've been trying to do this for a while now, and something, had happened and we couldn't do it. And like today, we had a little hiccup earlier, but we made it work. So,
We made it
yeah.
work. No big deal.
Thank you. Thank you. And we'll see you again soon.
Sounds good. Thank you.